Hi, my name is Jason Collin, and today I will be talking about the Infinity Gauntlet. I will be talking about the comic version and the MCU version. So both versions have 6 stones, although the comics there's technically a seventh one called the Ego Stone, but we don't have to worry about that one. Um, so the 6 stones are basically the remnants of the Big Bang, which I guess for both the comics and MCU, that was the Big Bang that created the universe. Those are the remnants of it, the fabrics of the universe. There are six of them: reality, space, time, soul, power, and the mind stones. And no, you have to have. There is a gauntlet made to harness the power of all 6 stones, and whosoever has that gauntlet, on top of whatever power you have, the gauntlet, plus the stones, pretty much makes you God. The only limit is your imagination and whether or not they can get the gauntlet off your hands, or at the very least get one of the stones off. But that depends on how whoever's facing you tries to go about it. But that's a tall order for anyone. Um, the difference between the gauntlets, or at least the stones, the gauntlet, the Infinity Stones with the gauntlet in the MCU, I guess it really doesn't matter who you are unless you're like a celestial or like in sorry, a celestial or anything above that. Um, it seems as if the stones literally, there's so much power in the stones that it's literally killing you, or at least there's so much power that the power is literally going within you, flowing in you so much that it's literally killing you. Also, I guess there's also gamma radiation, so I guess at that point it may be cancer in literal. At this point, it's probably just giving you cancer in literal form, but because there's so much power, it's not a slow death, much as an excruciating death, unless you take the gauntlet with stones off quick enough. But even then, that might be too late. And keep in mind, some of these stones, some of them, just the stone itself, if you touch it, could kill you because of the immense power. Like the Power Stone in the MCU, that can, I guess there's so much power in that stone that whoever holds it, unless you're powerful enough, it will pretty much make you explode just from the sheer amount of power. Unless of course you put it in some other container to harness and draw out its power. Um, yeah, but the Power Stone, pretty much it'll give you strength, power, unlimited. It's basically it'll give you omnipotency, or well, no, what's the word? Omnipotence. Oh well, all powerful. I know, unless of course there's some limit, but that's pretty much just whatever your limit of your mind is really. Um, it can absorb any power, shoot any power, whatever it is, whatever really is power, give you unlimited strength. The Soul Stone basically lets you become the master of life and death. And you could control souls, bring back the dead, whatever it is you want to do with the Soul Stone. Um, I in the comics, I don't think it explained what you had to do to get the Soul Stone. Uh, but in the MCU, you had to sacrifice the thing you loved the most. It was either the thing you loved the most or the person you loved the most, but I'm pretty sure they use the word thing, so that depends on what you are. But it's most likely a person. The Power Stone, well, it was in the MCU. It's on a planet called Morag, I believe. And there's traps and booby traps you had to get past. And in the comics, someone named the Champion, I believe, has the Power Stone. And the next stone now, after power and soul, space. The Space Stone, you can pretty much be anywhere. You're omnipresent. You're pretty much omnipresent. You can be anywhere. Space. You can lock anything in space. Pretty much, you can be anywhere. Intangibility, whatnot. Um, in the MCU, that's in the cube called the Tesseract, I believe. Yeah, the Tesseract. In the comics, I don't know where that one's found. That might also be the Tesseract, but I don't know. The cube, that's a different thing altogether in the comics, from my understanding. Um, so we have power, soul, space, and the Time Stone. You can pretty much control the flow of time, rewind it, go forward, stop time, make a time loop, like maybe even travel in time, I guess, or stop yourself from aging, freeze yourself in time. Um, I I guess in the MCU though, there's how should I put this? There could be consequences because in the Doctor Strange movie, Mordo, another sorcerer, says that he messing him and Wong. Will say there's repercussions for messing with time. As Mordo said, the bill comes due. Although that might have been for some other things, but I'm pretty sure that's included in there. And also, technically, it was held with the Ancient One at Carmitage, um, some sanctuary for sorcerers where they learn to master magic and whatnot. Um, in the comics, not exactly sure where that one was found either. Uh, and now the next stone, since we already went over power, soul, space, time. Now there's the reality stone. That one you're pretty much you can pretty much make anything a reality. You can make, I don't know, the most powerful person into a glass statue and break it, and the person's dead, or make the air into cotton candy. Um, uh, and technically in the MCU, it was called the Aether. That was used by the Dark Elves again during something when all the planets aligned, the convergence. Yeah, that was in Thor: The Dark World. But yeah, also that it was also in a liquidy form uh, before it solidified into like its stone state, but it's more like a smooth rock. Well, unless you look closely, you can see stuff churning inside as if in motion, which makes sense considering it's manipulating reality. Matter manipulation, energy manipulation, manipulate anything. And then I should also mention that all the stones, the colors of the stones are different. Like the time stone is a different color in the comics, but in the MCU it's green. The power stone is not purple in the comics either, so they're different colors, just so you know. Um, and so now we should have the last one, the Mind Stone. The Mind Stone, now that one you're on, with that you could pretty much be omniscient. So, uh, you can pretty much know anything. Any mind powers, you can levitate, shoot. You can shoot beams. I guess all of them you can shoot beams out of really. Um, yeah, in the comics, Vision has the Mind Stone. As part of his made up of his body. In the comics, though, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, it was also in the Scepter first before they used it to make Vision. Um, it was in the Scepter. I'm not sure exactly where it was in the comics either. I should also point out that the Soul Stone in the comics was technically Adam Warlock's forehead. Although now that I think about it, oh wait, no. Yeah, I may be confusing things a little bit, but yeah, they changed things in the movies. You have to ask the producers about that, but yeah, and I should point out that putting them all together with the gauntlet makes the Infinity Gauntlet. Um, and in the Marvel multiverse, each universe has their own set of Infinity Stones. The Infinity Stones in do not work outside of their universe, and there are specific places in which some of the stones don't work or all the stones don't work, like the quantum, like anything outside of time. The time stone doesn't work like the realm of Dormammu. That time stone doesn't work. At best, you can make like a time loop. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Um, yeah, I think the quantum realm. I think maybe the space and time stones probably aren't going to work. Um, the TVA pretty much made the Infinity Stones paperweights within the TVA. Um, and then and remember, it's your whatever you can do with the Infinity Stones. So really, the only thing limiting the Infinity Stones is your imagination and whether or not they can get the gauntlet off of you. or if you need all the stones to do something, if they can get at least one of the stones out off of you. Um, some of the characters that have worn the Infinity Gauntlet in the comics: Thanos, Adam Warlock, Nebula. Um, I'm pretty sure there's been a few other characters in the movies. Hulk, Thanos, Iron Man. Uh, yeah, in the Infinity Gauntlet, it's way different. It seems the level of power of the stones way different because I guess in the comics you technically can't destroy the stones. I guess that's kind of like an oxymoron, destroying very fabrics of the universe itself. Sorry, but you can in the MCU, as Thanos used the stones to destroy the stones. But the Avengers went back in time to get the stones from the past, so they could undo what Thanos did. But they also had to return it at the time that they got it from. Otherwise, uh, those timelines would branch off, or I guess at some point they'd start to be destroyed, because the Infinity Stones, explained by the Ancient One, create what people experience as the flow of time. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much an overview of how the Infinity Stones work. So remember, there are six Infinity Stones: time, space, power, soul, reality, mind, and with all six stones combined, you can pretty much become a god. But in the MCU, you pretty much have to be strong enough to withstand that power and be able to use it. Because as much as you're using it, it's also taking a toll on you. Well, I mean, so I mean, you know, the comic Infinity Stones seem to be way better, but you can obviously see why they nerfed it down in the movies, because power that doesn't have any drawbacks. Yeah, eh, you know, it wouldn't make for a compelling story. But yeah, that's pretty much the Infinity Stones and the comic and movie differences.